Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome in. It is a brand new episode of Snaps. I am back in the hotel room as the weather's a little inclement in Mobile today, awkwardly angled. If there's not a better, if you're watching on YouTube, if you're listening on podcasts, what up? Thank you. Rate and review the show. That always helps, But if you're watching on YouTube, there may be no greater visual representation in the difference of the lives of a mediocre chubby O lineman and a very attractive QB1. I am sitting here oddly angled in a Holiday Inn in Mobile, Alabama, where if you can hear the birds chirping in the background, sadly, that is not coming from my hotel room. Aaron is outside on Lake Oconee, just a beautiful nature vista behind him, perfectly manicured lawns, forests. I mean, it just looks spectacular. Look at that view.
You see the lake? God. You see the lake back there, T-Bob?
That's my bed behind me. Look at that.
Let's see the bed. Look at that bed.
Yeah.
That looks like a magical spot.
Corner.
Magical spot.
Tight.
Hey, it ain't gonna be as good as my view when the wife and I are going on a little couples trip this weekend for 5 days. So some sunshine.
Nice,
I'm gonna be nice and tan next week. I'll be looking fresh and rested. No kids.
Where y'all
no
gonna
dogs.
Go?
We're going down to the Bahamas for about 5 days.
Oh, let's go. Aaron Murray, my God. Better view, T-Bob's bed or the lake? Great question, and it's my bed, chat. You know it is, okay? Vote the correct way. Unlike yesterday when, I can't remember, y'all pissed me off on some vote yesterday, though. Okay, well, this is Snaps. We're a daily college football podcast. Brum, do you remember? Did you want to say something?
I was going to say it, then I forgot, so I unmuted myself. It was something about... Was it
my bad for calling you out on that.
Was it the OnlyFans on Monday? Was that what it was?
No, I can't remember. Yeah, maybe. Well, I don't remember. This is Snap, so college football podcast. We're on every day. It's very fun, Monday through Thursday. Live here at youtube.com/volume. Like, subscribe. Wherever you listen to podcasts, please subscribe to the feed if you like it, rate and review it. That really helps. And if you sign up for FanDuel, use the promo code SNAPS, okay? These are all free ways, which if you like the show, you can help out the show. So thank you to everyone who takes time to do that. I'm T-Bob Hebert. He is Aaron Murray, QB1 himself. We got a lot to get to today. First off, Last of Us is the hot show right now, okay? Zombie apocalypse are back. Is apocalypses? That sounds weird. Apocalypses. Yeah. Apocalypses? If we were to make it plural, whatever. The point is,
I believe the whole point of an apocalypse is it can't be plural.
Well, okay. Very funny. Actually, very funny. Very
good point.
But apocalypse can also be a bit relative, right? Like, you could, like, if an entire country got destroyed, your experience, if you were in that country, would be apocalyptic. Like, it would be an apocalypse for you, maybe not for the rest of the world. But it's a fair point nonetheless, bro. We are going to do another Thursday top 10 coaches draft. So look at the top 10 coaches in college football that you would want in a zombie apocalypse. And I think I like some of my answers here. Are we going to, I do want to talk about the Mike Francesa take, as Mike Francesa achieved, just a work of art yesterday on First Take. Of course, ESPN reuniting Mike and the Mad Dog. They're talking about Tom Brady. And Francesa put together just one of the single greatest sports takes moments that you will ever see in your entire life. We're talking about Tommy Rees maybe going to Bama. And then there is a fascinating Max Olson article in The Athletic right now, Aaron, about the percentages and the trends of signing a top high school quarterback. And it is shocking just how you can basically like guarantee that guy's not going to finish at your school. And it's all in pursuit of the question, like, should you invest in paying a high school quarterback? So we'll get to all of that. Boys, where do you want to start? What do you want to start with? Let's take over.
We'll do Tommy Rees, and then we'll do the draft.
Okay.
Tommy Rees first. Okay, here we go. Okay, so Tommy Rees is reportedly, so for those that don't know, Tommy Rees is the very young, just 30 years old offensive coordinator at Notre Dame. Shout out our producer, Paulie Walnuts. He's a Notre Dame guy. He just continues to see the SEC take everything that he loves after Brian Kelly. Now it looks like Tommy Rees is next in the crosshairs as Nick Saban. He has emerged as Nick Saban's top candidate for OC.
Ooh.
Fascinating for, I know, right? Fascinating for a couple of reasons. First off, Rees is obviously very highly thought of by some very important minds. For Saban to say that, and when Brian Kelly got the job at LSU, he fought to get Tommy Rees. Tommy Rees made a big deal of staying with Marcus Freeman, saying no to Brian Kelly. I wonder if he can do the same, Aaron, because from where I sit, if you're Tommy Rees, you don't walk, you run to Tuscaloosa. Being the Alabama OC has proven to be incredibly beneficial to the last 5 men who have taken the job. So I would say, if the precedent has been set, I think it's a great opportunity for him.
I get it, but I also think LSU would have been a great opportunity for him too. Especially with the being so familiar with Brian Kelly. Maybe he doesn't have the same track record as Alabama, where coordinators end up moving on to be head coaches, or if you want to go to the NFL, as their previous offense coordinator just went out to the New England Patriots. But if you would have followed Brian Kelly to LSU, you would have had a better roster, more talent, more opportunities to win championships, more opportunities to prove yourself as a coordinator in the SEC. I don't see a big difference in the brands of LSU and Alabama. And call me crazy, I think LSU is a great brand. I think LSU is a great university, a place that has proven you can win national championships, has really good talent, very close to the same talent that Alabama has. And Brian Kelly, in my mind, even last year, even before he proved that he can hang in the SEC, what he did at Notre Dame, to me, proved that he's a top 4 or 5 coach in America. So if you don't want to leave Notre Dame to go to LSU, a place that has a ton of talent, a place that 2 years ago produced the best offense that we've seen in the past couple decades, maybe the best offense of all time, ever, to follow a guy that personally, a guy that is a top 5 coach in America. Why would you then wait a year to go to Alabama? To me, I don't see there's that big of an upgrade. If you said no to LSU, that's automatic yes. Let me say yes to Alabama. So
I loathe that you are putting me in this position right now, because unfortunately, I do think there's actually a pretty big difference. If you look at the quarterback talent, the offensive talent that Alabama has produced recently, if you look at the fact that, maybe LSU has one of the most talented rosters in the entire country, but they're actually much closer to Notre Dame on that blue chip chart than they are Alabama. Alabama's an outlier. Them, Georgia, and Ohio State are actually in a tier all to their own, where they're pushing 80% blue chippers, and then LSU, Notre Dame, and the other top teams, they're that mid 60s kind of level right there. So, and then as far as championships goes, you can win a championship at LSU. You will win a championship at Alabama. I mean, think about this. Every single recruit that has committed to Nick Saban, even when he was at LSU, so since the year 2000, every single recruit that's committed to Nick Saban, if you stayed for 4 years, you got a national championship ring. And then, like we said, right, let's go through the recent coordinators. Brian Daboll, NFL head coach. Bill O'Brien, now back to being Bill Belichick's offensive coordinator. Steve Sarkisian, Texas head coach. Who am I missing here, Aaron? Oh, Lane Kiffin, Ole Miss head coach, right? Mike Locksley, Maryland head coach. This is Tommy Rees's fast track to the big show, if he wants to take it. And also, if you look at the context of what LSU was when Brian Kelly took over, it was bad, right? I mean, it was a complete rebuild, whereas here you are stepping into a well-oiled machine.
There's also something to be said about. Okay, yes, there is a gap between Alabama and LSU. I don't think it is as big as you're talking about. I still think, obviously, you can have plenty of success at LSU, and if your goal was to take your game to another level as a coach, I think you could have easily taken that opportunity last year and gone with Brian Kelly to LSU. I don't know, man. There's something to be said, and we've seen it. A lot of coaches across America, to have the opportunity to be home, to be with the fans, to be at a university that you played at. Obviously, he was a quarterback there from 2010 to 2013, and it's still
Sure.
it's still traditionally a great place to be, man. And they had a lot of success at the end of the season. And what were they lacking last year, Notre Dame? Because their schedule is not an SEC schedule. Their schedule, half of it's ACC, half of it's, kind of how they want to do it based on some of the rivals in the past. Now, all of a sudden, you bring in a top quarterback. I think you brought in the best quarterback in the transfer market, Sam Hartman. You look at right now, the biggest difference between Alabama and Notre Dame is Alabama, in my opinion, has two unproven quarterbacks. I don't know who their quarterback's going to be. And honestly, I don't feel good about with either guy. They had some young receivers that got better during the season last year. You're replacing a running back. Nick Saban is, kind of on the back end of his career right now. I love Marcus Freeman first. So there's a couple things to me of why he would want to stay at Notre Dame. One, you played there.
Marcus Freeman's
It's your
better
home.
looking.
You love it. Marcus Freeman's a damn good looking dude. He's a hell of a coach. He's going to take care of the defense side of the football. He's going to let you run the offense the way you want to run the offense. You just brought in the best transfer portal quarterback in America, and Sam Hartman, who himself also is very good looking. And that was the big issue last year with Notre Dame. They didn't have a quarterback. And now all of a sudden you solve that problem. So to me, Notre Dame is in a position right now, and they just had a great recruiting class. It wasn't number one like Alabama, but it was a great recruiting class. But you don't have the headache of going in and trying to figure out a quarterback spot. So I don't know. If I'm him, I'm staying. I'm staying at Notre Dame. If he says no to LSU, I ain't saying yes to Alabama when Alabama has a lot of question marks that need to be answered at the offensive spot.
Okay. You make some good points. I guess if I wanted to counter them, I think you will have the same autonomy that you would have at Notre Dame at Alabama. Like Saban, I get the vibe, at least, or from what I've heard, he lets the OC run the offensive side of the ball. Now, it would be a bit different given how young Tommy Rees is, just 30 years old, right? There may be some temptation to not let him have free reign, but for whatever it's worth, the other guys have had that from Nick Saban. Also, when you talk about Alabama's quarterback situation, it is not ideal. And the Sam Hartman thing does change this maybe because, like, that'd be real tempting because, like, mediocre quarterbacks getting the most out of him, that's kind of what Tommy Rees has made his name on. I think it's probably one of the most attractive traits from him. Like, you can't name any of these recent Notre Dame quarterbacks, and yet the last 3 years, they went to the playoffs in 2020, they go 11-2 in 2021, and then they lose Tyler Buckner right at the start of this season, and they still end the season on a 9-2 run. Like, he's had to adjust to some really bad situations, so he could get Milroe or what's the big recruit? He could get them to play well, but I certainly see what you're saying. It's like, okay, well, now he finally has, Ty Simpson. It's like now he finally has Sam Hartman. Like, is he going to move? Yeah, that's completely fair. Completely fair, but it's a credit to Tommy Rees that both Brian Kelly and Nick Saban had him at the top of his board. Like, this, so that's why, like Andy J says, it seems like Saban pools of candidates dropped a peg this time around. I don't think it has. I think Tommy Rees is just a hot candidate. And you know what else this does? It reinforces what we talked about with Saban. Saban is a guy who you really cannot pin down. I like him for this reason. You cannot pin down how he is going to hire, right? It could be somebody who's been unemployed. It could be, so he seems to have a very good eye for talent, and he does a good job of not discriminating against the background, right? Is it coming from the NFL, small college, whatever. Remember, he hired Jim McElwain from Fresno State back in the day, despite never having had worked with him. So credit to Tommy Rees. We'll see. Hey, you know what? You know what I can't guarantee, Aaron? Tommy Rees about to make more money. So yeah, good on him for sure. Because Notre Dame will fight to keep him. Like, I think the last headache that Marcus Freeman wants right now would be for Tommy Rees to leave.
Of course it is. I mean, like I said, like Notre Dame right now has had so much momentum to end the season off with the recruiting class, with the top quarterback. Like, the last thing you want to do, especially this late in the game, like, this is the problem right now. It's like, you are worried because Alabama is such a luxury that Saban can kind of pick who he wants for 98% of the country and say, hey, come interview. So all of a sudden your university kind of gets their butt puckered up a little bit. about, okay, are we going to then have to try to find a new
Yeah,
offensive
yeah.
coordinator? Like, yeah, like that's a huge problem. Like Notre Dame right now, it is February 2nd. Imagine the next 10 days, you lose Tommy Rees, who's one of the best young minds in college football. How do you figure that out when most teams are now getting ready for spring ball all of a sudden? Like spring practice, like crazy enough, spring practice for a lot of schools starts at the end of this month. We're like 4 or 5 weeks away from spring ball going. And now you're talking about having to possibly hire a new coach, get him going with getting accustomed to your university and the coaches and getting him again the game plan and sort of the practices installed and all that. Like, yeah, this is a problem for whoever Nick Saban does pick if it does come from the college ranks right now.
You know who you should hire? I heard rumors about this actually at the Senior Bowl. So, like the whole football world's here. I heard that Todd Monken might take the job. Actually, dude. I heard Todd Monken might switch from Georgia to Alabama. How about that?
I heard both
Crazy
coordinators
stuff,
at Georgia.
Dude.
Both coordinators at Georgia said, you know what?
Yes.
You know what? We're sick of
Monken.
winning. Yeah, Schumann, Monken. We're both gonna head over to Alabama. We'd rather be with Saban than good old Kirby. Please don't cut that, bro, and post that. Whatever you do.
Yes. Everybody that is on the internet now, post that. Aaron said it, and he meant it. Let's get some rumors going. All right. So credit Tommy Rees, man. We'll see if he ends up being the OC of Bama. Now it's time for a little Thursday coaching top 10. And again, in honor of The Last of Us and Zombie Apocalypse being back at the pop culture forefront of the brain, we will do a snake draft. Redraft the 10 coaches that you would want with you during a zombie apocalypse. I have first pick this week, right, boys?
You got first pick. This is more up your alley, T-Bob, with the this kind of crazy world. So yes, you're first.
All right. Look, this is chalky. Okay. But I got first pick. So what do you do with first pick? You take chalk. And I'm taking Nick Saban. Okay. Don't get hung up on the fact that he's old. A lot of times physical prowess may be required to survive some situations, especially early on in an apocalypse, but ultimately leadership capability is going to be what really is going to see you thrive in this chaos. And the chaos is something to really look at here, right? Because think about 2020 Alabama. It's just such an outlier year for so many reasons, right? The multiple players that they had finish, I think, in like the top 5 of Heisman voting. The 10-0 run through the SEC, beating the hell out of everyone. Like that Alabama team was, I keep going back to the word outlier. They managed the chaos of COVID far better than anyone else did, and the results showed on the field. Like, I would love some sort of hypothetical alternate dimension where I could see that 2020 team, how it would have done in a normal year. They still would have been great. I don't think they would have been as great. But I think it's like Tyrion Lannister in Game of Thrones, chaos is a ladder, or maybe it's a Littlefinger or something. He's right, and nobody is better suited at handling chaos than Nick Saban. I also think you got to be ruthless, right? And I was reminded of a great old Saban story from when he was with the Miami Dolphins. They're doing two-a-days. And there's this O-lineman, Geno James. He collapses in the middle of practice. He gets carried to the locker room. They set him down between the locker room and the training room. Nick Saban comes in from practice, steps over him, and just goes straight up to his office. Doesn't check on him, doesn't ask the trainer what's going on, allegedly steps over him, showing no compassion for the dead man at his feet. So give me Nick Saban, the first coach that I would want in a zombie apocalypse.
All right, my first coach, I'm going to go with, if all hell broke loose, is Jeff Monken at Army. I need a man who knows how to lead troops. Get the troops going, and he knows how to lead men who are going to be going into the Army. I want fighters. I want warriors. I want guys that are going to pick up the damn gun, shoot those damn zombies down, and who better than a man that knows how to lead future cadets? Or cadet, I guess they're called cadets now. Are they called cadets now? He leads cadets right now to this day.
I don't know, dude.
I think they're called cadets right now. Whatever. These kids are going to be going off to the Army. He leads them for half their time there at Army, the academy. So that's the type of leader that I want. The respect, because that's what. Yeah, it's, I feel good about that. Find a guy that knows what war. I guess he doesn't. He didn't go to Army, but he's around it enough. He's around it enough where I'm sure he gets little tidbits from professors on campus and the players on campus. Strategy to take down the enemy. Give me Todd freaking Monken as my first pick. Boom.
Did you just stolen valor on behalf of Todd Monken? You just gave Todd Monken stolen valor.
Yeah.
All right. It's a snake draft. You got another pick. You get another pick. Who else? I love that.
Damn, I mean,
he has a ready set army. Oh God. Yeah.
He does.
You want me to go?
Army ready to go. No. I got next one. Don't you steal my snake draft. I got third pick over here. Simmer down.
Okay.
All right. My third choice is going to be Marcus Freeman. Young, good looking, can maybe distract the enemy with his looks. Strong,
former middle linebacker too, and also
former middle linebacker.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. That's okay.
Yeah. I think he has a good mixture of a lot of things. One, he was with Fickle. So
you think the zombies are? You think the zombies are going to want to bang Marcus Freeman? He's so good looking. Even though they're just shambling corpses that want to feast on brains, and that's their only drive motivation. When they see Marcus Freeman, they're like, damn.
You know what makes you know what makes the zone read so good, and they kept talking about this last week when Philadelphia was playing San Francisco, is the hesitation. All you need is a split second of hesitation from a linebacker, and then bam, you're at the second and third level as a running back. Split second, good looks. Oh, okay, Marcus Freeman, and then boom, they're dead. So
can I help Aaron here with this case as well?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
There's as we learned from The Walking Dead, the thing to survive the zombie apocalypse is you're surviving two things: the zombies and the other humans. And Marcus Freeman is too good looking to get killed by other humans, and that's arguably half the battle. Which rounds
true.
Up.
Yeah, that's a good.
You know what, Marcus? If you look, so look at how.
And everyone loves him too.
Yeah,
everyone loves Marcus Freeman. Like every coach you talk with, just absolutely gushes. I mean, he's a people person. He's a hell of a leader. I mean, look at the kids. Like last year, when he was announced as the head coach at Notre Dame. The reaction he got from those players tells you everything you need to know. Like they will run through a freaking wall for Marcus Freeman, and that's the type of guy that I want on my side. Guy that can rally the troops.
How about this? They'll run through a wall. They won't run through the Marshall thundering herd, though. As Marcus Freeman got his ass whooped by Marshall. Okay, I'll say this. Fair, all good points on Marcus Freeman. But you know who pisses me off in the zombie apocalypse more than anyone? The person who decides, hey, let's have a baby. And if you look at how big Marcus Freeman's family is, and if you look at how good looking he is, he's going to be the dumbass that gets somebody pregnant during the apocalypse. It's just ridiculous. Like, don't have babies in a zombie apocalypse, at least not until things have chilled out a little bit. Okay, my turn on the draft. My next one, I am going with Sam Pittman from Arkansas. Yes, physical fitness is a bit of a concern here. But there is something about Sam Pittman that I can't even, it's a certain je ne sais quoi. It's like when a person looks like their dog or something. He reminds me of a human feral hog, right? And when I think about the sort of tenacity, the grit, how grimy it's going to get in an apocalyptic setting, like Sam Pittman would look more normal and comfortable in like ragged survivor clothes and like some combat boots that he salvaged and, you know, like a gun than he does in a suit. Like the man looks awkward as hell in a suit. Like he's already not made to be in this civilized world in which we live. So give me a feral, tenacious Sam Pittman leading a grimy gang. Like it's not going to be super organized. Well, it's going to be organized, but they're not going to live like in buildings. I kind of view them as living in like maybe the mountains or the hills or caves. See Sam Pittman in a cave. Hell yeah, dude. Okay, that's my next pick.
Now
After
you're making
that,
Sam Pittman sound like Frank from It's Always Sunny. Like he wants to live in the suit.
I mean, I get Frank vibes, and Frank would thrive. Again, physically, he might not be the most dominant, but he would thrive in an apocalypse, as we know that that's a man who likes to descend the depths of depravity. My next on this list, Luke Fickell from Wisconsin. And here's where it gets interesting. He's actually the opposite of Sam Pittman in my mind. Like Luke Fickell to me is Christian Bale from American Psycho. Like he wakes up, he immediately does his workout routine. He's got a skincare routine, right? He puts all that pomade and slicks his hair back perfectly. And then he gets hyper organized and he gets to work. In a zombie apocalypse, he is going to run a very tight ship, okay? So, like, you better do what you're supposed to or you're going to be in trouble. Now, if you're in, though, and you're on board, you're going to have some pretty good living conditions, I feel. You're going to be set up in a nice building. There's going to be clear hierarchy, organization, and I think that Luke Fickell, and I feel very comfortable in saying this, I think that Luke Fickell would have no problem killing other human beings and making very tough decisions to kill other human beings and then harvesting their fat for the pomade in his hair during the apocalypse. So, yeah, I think so far, yeah, Nick Saban, Sam Pittman, now Luke Fickell, join the squad. I think you would thrive. And he would be like Negan. Like I get very Negan vibes from Luke Fickell for sure.
Yeah. All right. So number 6, I'm going to go with Jim Harbaugh on this one. A man who is so bizarre. Like the video, if you like just Google Jim Harbaugh, like look at Instagram or Twitter, you see just some random shit of him. Like the workouts he does, you just see him like walking around, like carrying plates. He kind of is that goofy, weird kind of guy that just, for me, somehow just survives. Like he's someone that like you keep asking, like as you watch the show, like how the hell is this dude still alive? Like how is he not been killed yet? But somehow he just finds a way to sneak around the enemy. Like he's the one that would literally just, if you're like in an abandoned city and you need to go get to one building to the other, he would literally somehow, you just look around and Jim Harbaugh's walking through all the dead people somehow and they're just avoiding him because like this dude's so stupid and so dumb.
His jaw, he's got that look on his face.
Yeah. And he looks like a zombie at sometimes though. He's gonna like that, the cam of him where he's looking at the referee.
Yes. Yeah.
Like he'll be walking around. So the zombie's like, who the fuck is this guy? And then they'll just let him go, and then he would get so much done for you. He would walk right by him, get to the next apartment building, get what you needed, the grocery store, get the groceries, come back.
I feel like Harbaugh is,
and he'd be good to go.
In this scenario,
he'd be so good.
He's not even aware that there's been a zombie apocalypse. He's just still living his everyday life. He's like going in the morning. He's coaching football. The players are just shambling around.
You guys are missing one very key factor here.
What?
Jim Harbaugh would get away from zombies because he'd be wearing cleats. And so,
and then look, great traction, dude.
And so you always traction. He could cut. He could run away.
Hey, how good! I just want to. Please use my face as our next thumbnail. That's all I asked for because I feel like it was pretty damn close to Jim Harbaugh-esque.
That was very good. All right, so Harbaugh. Who do you got next?
My next. So this is going to be 7 now. I'll go with Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin's a survivor. He is. He always finds a way to survive. And I need someone who can communicate in a way that the enemy won't know what's going on. And there's no one better at cryptic messages than Lane Kiffin. Like when you're trying to survive and the other humans are trying to kill you and you're trying to get a message across to your gang of friends to like, hey, we need to meet here. Lane Kiffin will emoji the shit out of it where only your team will know what's going on and the other team won't. So like he's a survivor. He's a great communicator, great cryptic communicator. And that's why I like Lane Kiffin in this whole
Lane Kiffin. So Lane Kiffin in this scenario is going to tweet his way out of the zombie apocalypse.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, dude, I think Lane. So somebody said coaches that will get you killed fastest in a zombie apocalypse, and mentioned Jimbo Fisher. I think I would have Jimbo. I would have Lane on my coaches that would get you killed fastest. All right,
Yes.
my next one here, Mel Tucker. Mel Tucker, he's just a complete psychopath. The entire branding at Michigan State is drag them into the deep and drown them. Or like, drag them in the deep and force it. Now, granted, look, that kind of messaging doesn't hit when you suck, like Mississippi State did this year. But again, in a post-COVID world, in a chaotic world, Mel Tucker was ahead of the curve. And he to great return, right? I mean, with what he did with the transfer portal that first year and getting Michigan State right there at the edge of the playoff. He's looks like, in terms of just being purely physically intimidating, he's probably the most physically intimidating person that we've mentioned thus far. He's just like freaking big and strong. And he's just a psychopath, man. Like he just gives off the vibe. Like I actually think it's one of the reasons why he's going to have trouble maybe keeping this thing going at Michigan State. He seems like a very hard person to be around when things aren't going well. Like you can be that psychopath when you're winning, but when you're losing and you're like constantly yelling at these players about how bad they suck and everything, it just doesn't at a certain point, you almost start to become a parody. But I would welcome that sort of harsh coaching in a zombie apocalypse. So give me Mel Tucker. And then for my final pick of the day, it's obvious. It goes without. I mean, it almost goes without saying. And he's not an active coach, though. Ed Ogeron. I mean, Coach.
Whoa!
What the hell are we talking about?
No, you cannot pick inactive coaches.
I did.
No.
I already did it.
No, you can't. No, it's not part of the game.
I already did it.
You can't pick someone who's not coaching.
No, Brum. Okay, let's go to the judges.
Here's the rule.
If you are still getting paid your buyout, are you an active coach?
Here's the deal. If you do Coach O, if you do a Coach O impression getting through a zombie apocalypse and it's funny, then you can keep it. The answer is how good is your answer?
I don't know. I don't know that I don't know that I want to do a Coach O impression. There's so many bad Coach O. How about I'll do like a Gru impression? Like, see, oh hey guys, oh no, I need some minions. Oh, look at that. Oh, my God. Coach O's ripping through the zombies. That's crazy. That's a me, Gru. I'm a villain. Yeah, sorry. Look,
I think Coach O's a good answer. I'm allowing it. We're keeping it.
Wow, look, the bottom line, the man is immune to the sun. His skin, you could lay him on the surface of the sun and he would emerge out the other side. His skin sucks all of it in and it just hardens him and makes him even stronger. He's got intimate knowledge of swamps and bayous and ways to get away from people. He knows from his Cajun heritage how to live off the land. Tenacious, leader of men. He would have a harem of beautiful blonde females at his beck and call, which would kind of suck if you were like a guy in his crew because you're not going to get to do any banging. But still, whatever, you're surviving, so it kind of is what it is. But Coach O was made to thrive in a zombie apocalypse, and he cares about cardio. Okay, you see him doing that little O shuffle, that nice, easy, sustained run, and it's like they talk about in Zombieland, right? That is one of the keys. If we're talking about a shuffling zombie apocalypse, not like a 28 days fast, 28 days later fast zombie, or even a Last of Us fast zombie. If we're talking about a shuffling zombie, just the ability to jog for a long time is a key trait to surviving, and Coach O has that in spades. So give me Ed Ogeron. By the way, I really feel like I kind of panicked and blew the Gru impression. The Gru impression was better this morning when I did. I'll find it again. But Coach O, my last pick on the list.
All right, this isn't my last pick, but this is someone that I would love to add to the list because I think he'd actually be number one. Mike Leach. Mike Leach would have been the best because you know, he knows every damn thing about.
You definitely can't pick.
He will be able to explain
former coaches.
I think it's a fair
I'm saying
rule.
I'm not picking him. I'm just saying he would have been number one on the list. I'm not picking him. I'm just saying, the only problem is
Mike
Leach. moment here. I think Mike.
No.
I just think he would know. He would be someone that if Mike Leach walked up to me and gave me like a complete lowdown on zombies and the history of zombies, how they've been conquered possibly like 5,000 years ago, the history of them, where they come from, why they're here, what their mission is. Like, I would believe him. I would believe every single word that came out of that man's mouth about anything that's of the that's not ordinary. So that's why I would trust him in these situations. Okay,
look,
but anyway,
so I could hold on Leach. I
ahead.
completely agree that he would have the planning, strategy, mental side of it down. He does walk a lot as well, which is great for, like we just talked about, right? Keeping up conditioning and whatnot. I don't know that Mike Leach would actually care enough to survive, though, if that makes sense. Like he always struck me as someone who is just kind of like, I don't know, man. He's kind of like me. Like, if an apocalypse happens, I want to be one of the first to die. I don't really want to have to survive in a post-apocalyptic world. Like, it's a lot. It's like a lot, you know? I mean, all of a sudden, like,
though. It sounds fun.
Resource scarce. No, it sounds awful. Resource scarcity, having to murder other humans just like to get like their shoes.
It sounds like a good time.
Having to protect your kids. It's just way too much. Like, I feel like Mike Leach would know the answers, but he'd kind of be like me and he'd just be like, look, dude, I don't need to go through all that. I'm out, dude. Just kill me first and then we'll roll.
I think he would enjoy it. All right, my last one, I got to go with my guy, Kirby Smart. Because when shit hits the fan and I need a halftime speech, when the enemy is knocking on our door and I need to get just a little bit of...
I don't think you understand how zombies work.
Out of it.
you keep having...
I need a little motivation. When I'm feeling like a T-Bob and I just want to quit. I just want to give up. I just want to go give myself to these zombies. And Kirby gets in front of the troops and says, guys, buck up. Okay. And he gives one of those glorious speeches. It's just that moment of like giving in when you're exhausted, when you're tired, when you're depressed, when all hell's breaking loose. Kirby's going to rally the troops and give one hell of a speech that's going to maybe, help me live another day or two. So that's why I'm picking Kirby.
I could see it. I could see it from a motivational standpoint, certainly. I mean, I would have probably murdered another human being after that pregame speech that he gave for the Natty. I mean, now I like envisioning Kirby in that apocalypse, but he still has that little Hoover High frat swoop. Like, he has made sure to have somebody saved in the group that can maintain that haircut. Also, Aaron, in your Kirby Smart group, do y'all just bark at the zombies? Like,
freak those little
okay.
I love how Aaron just dropped a scare to compete for you in a zombie apocalypse.
Yes. No,
T-Bob, he admitted it.
Though.
To be what he admitted it. T-Bob doesn't want to fight for his life.
No, I mean, do you honestly, dude? Do you honestly?
Yeah, I think it'd be fun.
Have you ever read The Road, Cormac McCarthy's The Road? Like, it just seems so shitty, dude. It does not seem fun in the slightest.
Fun.
Like
I'm not saying like I'm gonna have fun, but like it seems like an adventure.
Kind of fun. Yeah, but that's the point. But there's no saving grace. It doesn't end. Shit just gets worse, and then you die. Just take me out immediately while I have like AC and like nice like Lululemon clothes that I can wash and everything. Like, no, I am scared to compete in zombie chat. You can vote yes on this, and I will not judge you. I absolutely am scared. Aaron. You have one more, right? You have one more?
No, he's done. That's our 10.
Or is that it? Okay, that's 10. Hell yeah, dude. The top 10 coaches.
All right, so here we go. We need
a
graphic this from Por Favor, but here we go. We had Nick Saban, Jeff Monken, Marcus Freeman, Sam Pittman, Luke Fickell, Jim Harbaugh, Lane Kiffin, Mel Tucker, Ed O, and Kirby Smart.
Speaking of stolen valor, how the hell did Lane Kiffin end up on this list, dude? I would not trust that man in a zombie apocalypse.
Cryptic messages.
I don't think that you understand how zombies work. I think you
I
have
do.
a.
But you're
What
the one.
what
You're the one who
zombie?
just brought
What
up.
zombie? What?
You're the one who just brought up like you're not only fighting the zombies, but you're also fighting other groups of human beings. If I need to get a
Sure.
message across to someone else,
Okay,
Laney's
fair.
going to
You're
find a
right. You're
way to
right. Good.
create some
Okay,
sort of coding for our group
fair.
to get messages across.
Okay, you're
Yes.
selling me now. You're selling me now.
Okay.
And like you said, he could probably draw up some like plays to like sneak you through the city or something. I kind of wanted to put Shane Beamer on this list, but I thought we were
Yeah,
getting a little
he
too
was on my
SEC
list of
heavy.
ideas. PJ Fleck,
Yeah.
like the motivational types, like the younger,
Yeah.
kind of in shape.
See,
God,
Shane
PJ
would
Fleck
piss me
would kind
off
of be a lot.
because Shane's too happy. Shane's too happy all the time. Like he's just always everything's good. I just like, no, it's not good. Like you, like this shit sucks. Like stop smiling. Like let's just get to work. He's way too happy
Shane
in the
would
situation.
like he would have one of the it would actually be like one of the good communes, right? Like one of like the beacons of light, maybe like hope for society. Like they would live in like a relatively normal suburban neighborhood that they had managed to fortify, and it would be, there would be like democratic rule, and there'd be like kids, they got a family still existing. Maybe we should have put like sorry, Shane, didn't make the list.
Yeah.
Didn't make the top
Sorry,
10.
Shane.
Grown up adult wearing a jersey says, I like the idea of Will Muschamp, Bo Pelini yelling combo. Oh, God. The last person I want to be with is Will Muschamp. He's just now he's chilled out now. But like prime Muschamp, it would just be so much, dude. He would never shut up. And
Who would be last in your
Dan
guys'
Ball.
list?
Worst, that really fat coach from Kansas back in the day, Mangino.
I mean, Gino.
Yeah,
Stop
Mangino.
picking former coaches, you softy.
Well, I just thought of like the most physically unimpressive and delicious looking specimen if I was a zombie, and like I would chow down on that dude. It was,
I'm surprised you didn't put like Chris
Harley Weiss.
your boy Chris the Fraud.
another former coach. Oh man, Kirk Ferentz probably should have been on this list for people that would be good in an apocalypse.
No way.
You don't think?
He's 1,000.
Ferentz, dude. Yeah, exactly. But he's like a gnarled old root. Like you can't kill him. He's like crabgrass. He's gonna live forever.
What was
I think
the
Rick
BYU's
Neuheisel
old
would
coach?
be terrible.
The BYU big coach. He'd be another good one to have.
Kalani Sitake, he's a beast.
Oh, yes.
I almost put Sitake on the list just from pure intimidation. He's actually like a better version of Sam Pittman. Actually, I probably should have had Kalani Sitake on there instead of Sam Pittman.
Yeah, you screwed that up.
That's fair.
When you start thinking of worst, I think obvious. It's like Mike Gundy, Jimbo Fisher. I mean, Dion basically needs a walker, so that's pretty tough.
Yeah, Dion, man, dude, Dion's like he's like somebody he got bit in the leg and we had to like cut his leg off.
Yeah,
maybe that's a little too real. Didn't he actually lose a toe?
Yeah, I think he's at least down one, maybe.
You know what's funny is that everything you said about Harbaugh also applies to Les Miles. Some about those Schembechler guys, they would just.
What about that? Are we sleeping on Dabo completely? Completely sleeping on Dabo?
No, I mean, you're right. Like Dabo, he would become like a religious like monk warrior and have a bit like of a religious zealot like cult around him, I think, where he would attract many people to his flock because he would be like a warrior preacher out there battling against the demons that have risen from hell. God, I feel like we almost need to workshop this list before we put it out because now I'm really liking some of these answers.
Well, we forgot one too. I could just we have Dan Lanning. We don't have Dan Lanning.
Why is Dan Lanning? I
could see Dan Lanning just all tatted up, warrior looking, SOB, ready to go. He just looks like a
Dan Lanning's a nice guy who got tattoos. No, he's a nice guy who got like a crazy tattoo. He's not like a tattoo like jacked bro. Look at that flabby body, dude. Look at that, dude. That little hairy nipple.
If you're gonna get that
zombie,
tattoo,
I'd bite that hairy nipple off.
You gotta have some big cojones to get a tattoo like that. So that kind of gives me some confidence.
Or you're like the nice guy wanting to be cool. You know, I don't know. I can't tell. I can't tell with Dan Lanning.
Harsin. What about Harsin? I think Harsin would be a good one.
Oh,
and he
yes,
could
he
be on the
would be
list.
good. And
He
I
could
would
be on
have
the
no
list because he's
desire.
still getting paid.
I would literally leave Brian Harson's commune. Like, I would brave the wilds and be like, all right, dude, I'm like, I know I'm going to die. I just can't take it anymore, dude. I'm out, dude. I'll holler at you. I would
God.
take off.
Too good.
Anybody?
That was fun.
Is anybody else? That was fun. That was a lot more fun. John L. Smith for worse. That's true. Poor John L. Smith, dude. I know nothing about him except that he went 0 for that 1 year at Arkansas, and they were just absolutely putrid. Okay, I guess we don't actually have time to talk about Mike Francesa achieving take perfection, unfortunately. Okay, I want to run down some of these numbers real quick, maybe like 5 minutes on the way out here, Aaron. So we live in a world where colleges are starting to pay for high school quarterbacks, right? I am Leva, the number one quarterback in the nation, got the $8 million from Tennessee. So it does beg the question, is this actually a good idea? Like, how much should you invest in getting these big-time high school commits? The Athletic, Max Olson, studied the the top 50 high school quarterbacks who signed with FBS programs from 17 through 20, right? So the best guys. Out of that, what they learned is that 70% of that group went on to transfer. If a signee did not start in their first 2 years, there's an 87% chance they're gone. This is where it gets weird, though. Now, with these guys, because they were such big recruits, there's actually a no, wait, what is that I'm looking for? Like there's actually a very good chance that you will start initially, like a 61% chance if you sign a top 100 quarterback that you'll start for at least one full season. But even then, there's still a 47% chance that they'll end up transferring. In fact, right now, out of the entire group, there were 70 quarterbacks that ended up not starting the game their first 3 years at 97% transfer. You know who the one guy who didn't was?
Carson Beck.
Carson Beck. Yeah, how about that, dude?
Yeah.
So I know that's gonna warm your. I know that's gonna warm your little old.
Pay the man.
Your little heart.
Pay him.
He is the true outlier out of 168 quarterbacks. Again, 70 didn't manage to start in their first 3 years, and he is the only one who stuck out around. So I hope that works out for him. So here's the point, because this is a little numbers heavy, and I feel like I'm kind of fumbling over my words, trying to really.
Please send me this article, because this is actually fascinating. Yeah.
No, it is fascinating. Again, one of the main things. Look, the top 50 quarterbacks from each class, 70 to 20, 70% of that group transferred. So, like, off the bat, as a fan, just make peace with the fact that, like, the guy you got all excited about on signing day, your star QB that you got all hot and bothered about, that young teen body and ability to throw the ball so far, he's probably not going to be the guy that you end up cheering for on Saturday. Like, that's just the truth. So accept that, and you'll be, like, way happier. Now, in terms of investment, though, if it makes sense, buyer beware. If you narrow this list to guys that were in the top 100, they were ranked in the top 100 players from 2017 to 2020. You get a list of 31 players. Now, you had some real studs there, okay? 8 of these 31 players end up playing 3 years and going pro. But actually, only 7 of the 31 became all-conference players. So what this means, the bottom line, is that if you sign a top 100 quarterback, the premier recruit at the premier position, if you sign a top 100 quarterback, the chances that he finishes at your school, just 35%. And then there's only a 23% chance that he'll be good enough for all conference. So you're looking at like a 1 in 5 opportunity. So, like, if you're going to invest, just know it is fraught with peril and missteps. And the crazy thing is, this is actually a pretty good class of 31. Like, if you look at the 21 and 22 classes, it's not. We'll see where it ends up going. Last thing I'll say, to me, because again, I feel like I haven't done the best job of translating what a good job Max Olson did with this. Bottom line, make peace with the fact that your star high school quarterback's going to transfer. And secondly, I think it makes way more sense to invest in a proven quarterback that's coming in the transfer portal with your NIL money than it is to preemptively pay a high school recruit. Like that's what this is
100%.
showing me, because they're all going to transfer, and you can see who's actually good instead of just rolling the dice and hoping that you're of the 23% that end up being all conference.
Yeah, like go get you, go get you a guy that's played 2 or 3 years, and that's why, honestly, like that's why for me the transfer portal is more exciting than high school recruiting. Why I really don't care anymore, because I know what these guys look like. I've seen them play. I've seen them play at the college ranks. I know what you're going to get. It's less of a crapshoot. And plus, you also know too, if a guy's transferring in and he's using his one free pass, chances are he's probably not going to transfer again because he doesn't want to sit out a year. Where if you get a high school guy like you alluded to, good chance those guys are going to say, you know what, I didn't start my freshman year, I didn't start my sophomore year. Screw that. I'm a 4 or 5 star. I want to play now, and I'm out of here. Deuces. So there's a better sense of this guy is going to stay. I've seen him play. I know what we're getting. I can see value in my investment. So 100%.
It's less risky.
Getting that type of players. The risk is less risky. Every risk is risky.
Yeah, there we go, dude. Yes, the risk is indeed less risky. No, I mean, and you're a businessman, Aaron. Like, isn't that the entire goal of any sort of financial investment, to like minimize risk and try to maximize return? It's very simple. So again, but fans, if you're listening to this, because we're not college head coaches, right? We're fans. Just like LSU fans with Walker Howard, like that was always going to happen. So just accept it. And it's going to continually happen. And it is what it is. All right. That'll do it for today's show. This is Snaps here on the Volume Sports YouTube channel, podcast network. Shout out Papa Con Coward for having us here at the Volume. Shout out to our wonderful, wonderful friends we get to work with every day. Ryan Brumley, Paul Farrington, Pat Gunner, Danny Cardenas. Thank you, Aaron Murray, man. This is the last time we're going to see you for a while. You were going on vacation.
No.
Right?
If we get big news, I'm bringing my gear with me. So I'll be poolside with a skinny margarita, ready to shoot content whenever we need it.
Brum, what are you thinking? I'm sorry to do this on air. I just want to let people know what our plans are for next week.
We are dark unless something awesome happens.
Okay, so this might be the last time that we get to, oh man, I'm going to miss everybody. I'm going to miss Grown Up Adult wearing a jersey and Walker Dog and Red and Black Dog and BB and JC and B2B and everybody, Andy J, everybody else hanging out here in the chat. But we love you, and we will be back after a week, so look forward to that. And I guess this is goodbye then. I'm going to miss you guys. Enjoy the lake, Aaron. Enjoy that beautiful setting. And we'll see you next time on Snaps.